We know that today, the specialty of today is the 84th birth anniversary of Dr. APJ. He visited our campus last year. I don't know how many of you know that he visited our campus last year and interact with our students. And the main thing we remember when we are talking about APJ is that we ask all the students to dream, all the people, not students, to people dream. And we know that one day that dream will come true. So he is a scientist, he was a scientist, turned to a politician because he became the president of India, 11th president of India, 2002 to 2007. The nation is strengthened not due to his missile or any kind of weapon. The main strength of any nation is depends upon the people. So same thing I repeat here, the strength of this College of Engineering Trivandrum is not due to the building, not due to the placement, just due to the people like Dr. G Ravindranath, the speaker today, alumni of this institution. That's the only thing you keep in mind. And you forget all other things. And some days people think that why should I take admission to College in Trivandrum? To get a job. To get a job, you need not come to College in Trivandrum. That's a scenario today, no? To get a job, simply to get a job, you need not come to college because you can join any other college, you will get a job. But to become a good engineer, you have to take admission to College in Trivandrum. Because we produce n number of good engineers. And that is the reason we are getting, you people are getting job. If you take any institution, any organization, you can see that at top level, you can see alumni from College of Trivandrum. Whether you take a Google or in Microsoft, any product companies like that, or applied materials, when you, applied materials, you know the applied materials, one of the top computer science and electronics company. And if it is serious, we are from College of Trivandrum. Okay. So we had a great tradition, and because of the people like the seniors, alumni like Dr. G Ravindranath, and he is very kind enough to give a lecture on commemorating the birth anniversary of APJ Abdul Kalam. We are very happy to be back to our campus. So on behalf of our college and also behalf of CTD Bay, the Career and Placement Unit, I say warm welcome you to your alma mater, to our campus. We have with us Mr. Ansar Asad. He is giving a special address on entrepreneurial growth through associating with the industrial bodies. We are hearing a lot of activities on entrepreneurship and startups and other things. And for this year onwards, I mean KTU, this 2015 admission onwards, you will get a separate credit point for activities related to this. So it's a small talk immediately after this presentation. There will be a small talk on entrepreneurial growth through associating with industrial bodies. So I welcome Mr. Ansar Asad to this program. I also welcome all the people. I mean, Mr. Kenny Jacob, no? So I welcome all the people associated with CAE and the Young Engineers Trivandrum for this function. So now I request the dignitaries to the dais, occupy the dais.
I am interested to introduce Dr. G Ravindranath, former director IISU. So for that I will read out the biodata of him. Dr. G Ravindranath had graduated in Electronics and Communications Engineering from College of Engineering Trivandrum, affiliated to the University of Kerala in 1973, securing first rank. He received gold medal from Institution of Engineers for securing topmost marks among all branches of engineering in Kerala in 1973. Soon after graduation, he joined SLV-3 project headed by none other than our Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam in Vikram Sarabhai Space Center, Trivandrum. Ravindranath made his debut in the erstwhile ISRO projects of SLV-3 and ASLV in the area of development of automatic checkout systems for subsystems and integrated launch vehicles. He had supported the initial launches with the mini computer-based checkout systems, which were later graduated to in-house developed real-time systems with improved quality and reliability. For this, nation awarded him the coveted NRDC Independence Day Invention Award in 1985. In 1996, he joined GSLV project as Deputy Project Director in charge of GSLV vehicle integration and checkout activities and was responsible for system definition, realization and qualification of the avionics subsystems and their integration in GSLV. He made significant contribution to the development and validation of avionics systems for the procured cryogenic stages from Russia. He had good interaction with the Russian teams, particularly in validating ISRO systems in engine and stage tests. Also, he had successfully interfaced with the systems during the filling mock-up trials of cryogenic stage at Satish Dhawan Space Center, Sriharikota, and ultimately used them flawlessly in the GSLV launches. In 2003, G. Ravindranath was designated Project Director GSLV and had been responsible for the operational launches of GSLV with EduSat and INSAT-4CR spacecrafts, which had made a real impetus to the indigenous launch capability for operational spacecrafts. Ravindranath was also fully involved in the realization of GSLV D3 mission with indigenous cryogenic stage. He was closely associated with development of onboard subsystems and systems of cryogenic upper stage, including their qualification in a series of engine tests and ultimately in the stage test. He worked hand in hand with the cryogenic upper stage project and LPSA SDSC teams to get the flight article ready as well as ground systems for servicing the stage. For his contributions as team leader, he was awarded along with significant performers of his team the ISRO Team Excellence Award in the year 2007. Ravindranath was also awarded ISRO Performance Excellence Award 2009 and ASI ISRO Award 2011 for rocket and related technologies. In 2011, G. Ravindranath was designated Director ISRO Inertial Systems Unit at Paturkav and was leading the team that designs, develops and supplies precision inertial navigation systems for launch vehicle and spacecraft of ISRO and a variety of mechanisms, solar array drives and momentum and reaction control wheels for ISRO spacecrafts. IASU also is in the forefront of developing critical technologies for ISRO's future programs involving systems of high precision and unlimited life in orbit. Under his leadership, IASU has presently diversified, separating R&D from production, and significant strides are made to realize systems for operational spacecrafts and launch vehicles in a fast-track mode. He has been giving thrust to improving the quality of sensors and systems, thereby aiming to achieve more precision in spacecraft orbital injection parameters comparable to those of optical systems used in advanced vehicles of other space agencies. Ravindranath superannuated from government service in May 2014 after an innings of 40 years in ISRO. Ravindranath is active in a number of technical forums. He is a fellow of the Aeronautical Society of India, a life member of Astronautical Society of India and Indian National Society for Aerospace Related Mechanisms. He is a corresponding member, International Academy of Astronautics, and has the associate status with Committee on Space Research. These are all about Dr. Ravindranath. So I conclude here. I already introduced.
Before commencing my talk, let me first offer my humble pranam to this noble institution, this Saraswati Kshetram, which had bestowed upon me unlimited blessings to shape my life and make me what I am today. My sincere gratitude and respects to all my gurus and my colleagues for my destiny, and my sincere appreciation to all my juniors who are keeping the torch of knowledge ever lit with astounding glory and beckoning a bright future to this great institution. Let me thank you very much. Today, we are all gathered here to commemorate the 84th birth anniversary of our beloved Dr. Abdul Kalam, and to dream on his vision for India 2020. Abdul Kalam, born on 15th October 1931, is one of India's most distinguished scientists, teacher, visionary, and a beacon of hope, all molded into one. He was responsible for the development of India's first satellite launch vehicle, SLV-3, development of operational strategic missiles, and Indianization of critical technologies. He held very senior position in ISRO, DRDO, and was the principal scientific advisor to Government of India. He was also instrumental in demonstrating India's prowess in the nuclear arena. He was the ultimate choice to become the first citizen of this country from 2002 to 2007 to occupy the hot seat and guide the country in its quest for development. He had the unique honor of receiving country's coveted civilian honors, Padma Bhushan in 1981, Padma Vibhushan in 1990, and Bharat Ratna in 1997. Shekhar Gupta of Indian Express has portrayed our dear Bharat Ratna Kalam in a short article assessing his role in shaping the country's future. He wasn't really a scientist in the classical terms of sense, nor was he a father of Indian nuclear bomb, nor was he a politician or public figure by upbringing or training, given that much of his life was spent in laboratories of ISRO and DRDO. And much as he loved to recite Sanskrit slokas and to play the Rudra Veena, he was simple, God-loving human being. He is immortalized in our collective memory as a man who gave us our nuclear deterrent. He became the most popular public speaker across generations, geographies, and demographics in India, and never spoke at a hall less than bursting at flanks with standees. All communities loved and trusted him. He achieved heights of love and respect of his countrymen, which came from his humility. He never played to the gallery and used excuses when he encountered failures in his missions. He always put the nation first. He was not petty, cynical, selfish, vengeful, unprincipled, or egoistic. That is why billion plus Indians revere him as their most loved leader in decades. He was the most loved of our children. He was most loved by our children after Chacha Nehru. His stature grew so phenomenally that he became the most wise and non-partisan personality of his time. I would like to thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity to pay my reverence and respects to Dr. Kalam, who happened to be my mentor and who shaped my life in my formative years at Vikram Sarabhai Space Center. Before dwelling upon his vision, which is the prime topic of today, let me present him in the raw form by a subordinate who joined his team and worked in Project SLV3 from 1973 to 1980. Contrary to my expectations of meeting a formal and tough superior when I met him first time, I found him to be a very simple person who listens to you more than sermonizing. I could feel his pulse from his colleagues in the very second week of my joining VSSE when he appreciated my trivial contribution to a civil engineering plan of an SLV3 blockhouse. He was always encouraging you to achieve perfection in your profession. He will not appreciate your work unless and until you go into the depth of a problem and surface a few issues which may be either design related, fabrication related, or related to the basic concept itself. To achieve perfection, he will support your conviction to the hilt if he is convinced. I will give a brief example on this. I was working the team to develop the automatic launch vehicle checkout system for SLV3. We had to procure a digital computer for this. After detailed literature survey, I had narrowed down to choose PDP-11 mini computer system marketed by Digital Equipment Corporation USA. The competitor to this was BARC developed and ECIL manufactured Trombay digital computer TDC 316. As the computer systems required for launch operations have to be highly reliable with adequate software and operating system support, TDC 316 was not the team's choice. Hence, we made a detailed technical presentation to Dr. Kalam on the pros and cons of procurement of the PDP-11 system from abroad. He was very much convinced, but at that time, to import a computer system, we require special sanction from Department of Electronics, Government of India. And Professor Dhawan, Chairman ISRO, was not for import. And Dr. Kalam failed to convince Professor Dhawan. But Kalam had found his way out. In one of the meetings, when he presented the subject, Professor Dhawan knew that Kalam is very much convinced that we had to procure the system. So he made a way out. What Professor Dhawan told Dr. Kalam was, Kalam, as far as this topic is concerned, you have not talked to me anything and I don't know anything. That was the simple solution he told. That means Kalam has not consulted chairman and had gone ahead with the procurement. So Kalam went ahead and we had the PDP-11, and this shows his conviction and support for a subordinate if he had done his homework properly. See, a lot of examples I can give, but I will give one or two only for your information how he was my boss. When you confront a problem, Dr. Kalam used to always be considerate with a human touch. One day when we were assembling the payload of a Centaur rocket, one of my colleagues, I don't know whether you know Mr. Narayana Murthy, he was acceptance testing a voltage regulator. In his anxiety to complete the work on time, Mr. Narayana Murthy had accidentally reversed the input connections and damaged the voltage regulator. He got very much depressed since this was the first test he was doing in a payload and was also afraid that he will get a flag from the bosses. He nervously reported the problem to Dr. Kalam. Dr. Kalam didn't fire him. He just smiled. Then he told him, so Murthy, you know how to damage a regulator. In future, you will not repeat it. This is the only statement he made. And it was like a prophecy, and Narayana Murthy never spoiled any other payload in his lifetime in ISRO. Dr. Kalam had always a hawkish eye on the quality and would never compromise on the same. He was always considerate to his subordinates in their welfare. He used to drop us near our homes at odd hours in the night after our work in the office, so also take care of our food requirements during late hour working. He was canny about every colleague. He used to find goodness in all of them and would extract from them the best even without their knowing so. I have several instances to recount, but shortage of time does not permit me. After he left ISRO, he used to associate us in the review programs of DRDO. He also used to visit us few days before every launch, share with us his experiences, review our work and provide his assessment. He also used to telephonically call and offer his best wishes for the launch before every major mission. In the event of any mission failure, he will keenly associate himself in the failure analysis. I remember he was deeply involved in the failure analysis of one of the launch vehicle missions when he was very busy in the Rashtrapati Bhavan. He had also a vision that ISRO's status should grow internationally. He was solidly behind ISRO in the Chandrayaan-1 mission. In fact, it was he who suggested India should ensure her presence in the moon by dropping our national tricolor so that India can claim her space prowess in the international arena. And so we had the successful moon impact probe. Now we can return to the topic of the session. Vision of India 2020, the blueprint presented by Dr. Kalam along with his colleague Y.S. Rajan to make India a vibrant, developed country. The motivation for this exotic work, as described by Dr. Kalam himself, was that a 10-year-old girl who came up to him for his autograph during one of his talks. On inquiring her ambition, she replied to him that she would like to live in a developed India. So the book hosting the ideas India 2020, a vision for the new millennium, was dedicated to her and millions of Indians who share her aspirations. This was first published in 1998. The focus of the vision is understanding India's developmental needs and actions required. A committee chaired by Dr. Kalam called TIFAC, that is Technology, Information, Forecasting and Assessment Council, with various subcommittees held in the whole Vision 2020 exercise. It was an integrated vision of Jawaharlal Nehru, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai and Dr. Homi Bhabha, which gave impetus to this work. The hard-earned experiences, failures and successes in ISRO was the catalyst. The only aim was directed to a common goal, a strong India, a developed India, and proceed India with the benefits available all over the country. This vision in relation to space technology has come true, especially in terms of reaching out to the people, providing communication through networks in remote areas, disaster warning systems, quick resource surveys to target groundwater, save our forest cover, and so on. And of course, in the areas of certain strategic strengths vital to India in the world, which respects only strength. A vision of a prosperous India without poverty, an India strong in trade and commerce, an India strong in many fields of science and technology, an India with innovative industry and with health and education for all, at the same time taking into consideration our system of governance and social and political compulsions. Based on elaborate exercise undertaken about 500 experts with unique experience in industry, laboratories and government administration, and also after studying several vision reports of India and other countries, Dr. Kalam and team firmly believed that India can reach the status of a developed country by 2020. To quote Dr. Kalam, a developed India by 2020 or even earlier is not a dream. It does not even be a mere aspiration in the minds of many Indians. It is a mission we can all take up and accomplish. Ignited young minds, we feel, are the powerful resources. This resource is mightier than any resource on earth, in the sky or under the sea. We must all work together to transform our developing India into a developed India, and revolution required for this effort must start in our minds. Dr. Kalam and the team had brought out concrete action plans in various areas of technology evolution, food, agriculture and processing, materials, chemicals, industries, on our biological wealth, manufacturing for the future, services as people's wealth, strategic industries, healthcare for all, and infrastructure development to realize the vision. It is also essential for creation of awareness that India has to become big and strong. Our job is to make a golden triangle of Punyatmas, Punyadhikaris, and Punyanetas work countrywide so that lot of action can be initiated and promoted at grassroots level. Another golden triangle of industry, government and R&D institutions will set into motion technology-based business activity, employment, demand creation through policies which will help businesses and as a consequence wealth creation. Both central and state governments have to create an enabling environment to ensure law and order and to conduct activities of public good. Media plays an important role in modern society in molding public opinion. It is essential that the media also attempts a positive outlook in the developmental efforts rather than focusing only on negative, gory events or worrying developments. The role of our political system shall also be conducive to the effort to achieve the vision. The vision also brings out an integrated plan in the areas of agriculture and food processing, electric power, education and health, information technology and strategic sectors. In conclusion, Dr. Kalam says that when these missions are implemented with a national focus, they will result in actions which will shape the second vision of the nation. The necessary financial, managerial and human resources would flow from those whose minds are ignited, including those in the government and industrial sectors. We therefore have a dream. Our dream is that both our houses of parliament would adopt a resolution for the second vision of the nation. India will transform into a developed nation before the year 2020. 1 billion people are our resource for this national transformation. Let the young minds blossom, full of thoughts, the thoughts of prosperity. 16 years later, after submission of the first blueprint, Dr. Kalam and team wanted to take stock of what we have achieved and what is ahead. In many ways, India's growth story in the 21st century has been hamstrung by missed opportunities and slowdowns in project execution, but it has also been marked by new opportunities and emerging technologies that make faster and more inclusive growth viable. A renewed policy focus is now needed for agriculture, manufacturing, education, healthcare and infrastructure. Alongside national security and knowledge economy are same of the other vital areas which we need to build on as we look beyond 2020. A blueprint for our future development has been brought out by Dr. Kalam in the form of a book, Beyond 2020, a vision for tomorrow's India. Having presented vision of Dr. Kalam, what is relevant today are a few attributes which are to be acquired by every citizen as dreamt by Dr. Kalam. Dream. Always think big. You have to dream before your dreams can come true. Great dreams of great dreamers are always transcended. To succeed in your mission, you must have single-minded devotion to your goal. And if a country is to be corruption-free and become nation of beautiful minds, there are three key societal members who can make the difference. They are the father, the mother and the teacher. Over and above this, we require a national discipline, a culture where we value teamwork, creativity, dedication and resourcefulness and despise egos. We have to have respect for others, at the same time develop habits of talking less and more listening to others. As dreamt by Dr. Kalam, the time for change is now. The alternative is clear and dire. If we continue in the present mode, others in the world will overtake us. Poverty and unemployment will increase, further leading to an implosion in our society. But if we take the change, we can make real progress from poverty to prosperity, from stagnation to speedy growth. India can still make it to the list of developed nations within a decade. We have to meticulously follow the action plan laid by Dr. Kalam for that transformation. Let us all rededicate ourselves once again to realize this dream of our great visionary and contribute with all our might, with tan, man and dhan, to make India a developed nation in the nearest future. I would like to conclude my talk by borrowing the well-known lines of H.W. Longfellow. Lives of great men all remind us we can make our life sublime, and departing leave behind us footprints on the sands of time. Let us not allow the footprints of Dr. Kalam fade into the dustbin of history. Let us follow his footsteps, carry forward his legacy, his dream of a developed India in the nearest future. Jai Hind.
I am proud to stand in this dais and to present on the day of our respectful President, former President, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam on his birthday. And we are representing young Indians to give you on a short interactive session. Specifically, it is an interactive session. You can come up at any time and ask me any questions which I am presenting in this presentation. For that, I would like to be more interactive with the students here. So, entrepreneurial growth through associating with industrial bodies. That is a topic I am covering. Initially, this presentation will start with the why I and how you can grow with, and how I am growing with the entrepreneurial in the entrepreneurial scenario of my life. What we say is the basic need of a startup entrepreneur is to get a good market for his product or his service or whatever, any technology or any specific thing, what you are going to bring in. So you need a market on this point. The best means to develop is to develop a good networking and is to associate with a strong industrial bodies. So that is entrepreneurial growth through associating with industrial bodies. So what does we do? We means the young Indians is an associate or the youth wing of Confederation of Indian Industries, is an integral part of Confederation of Indian Industry. YI, the Young Indian, is a non-governmental, not-for-profit, industry-led and industry-managed organization playing a proactive role in India's development axis. We Young Indians is able to do potential things in building, work effectively for skills for learning programs and is of global excellence abroad. For a month we had to various industries, the manufacturing unit and Infosys IT development, learned how the companies are working and peep into format and the organization. YI 1,500 students, 109. We have Yuva detailed by at a later time teaching faculty member. YI is a regional and theme related to, and the role of engagement with the government at national level gives members to become effective vision, as just said ahead by Dr. Ravindranath, are the future things, and YI doing a key role in building. How does this work? 27.5 national population of 59 years, contributing to the national income, the gross national income. So this is a key because the me is in this cap are able to percentage of the and it is a figure when it young Indians youth-led harnessed in national development when it will be the young recognize the value towards the country dividend and youth employment and entrepreneurship. We believe to provide to discover their potential with stakeholders, inclusive socio-economic and create entrepreneurs to social challenges. Engagement program believe that youth bring and training live participation in I 2014 was an NRI, 2013, 3 to 2013, and I started business in India. Really, there is a slice in my life back to India. I was a German-based manager for the operations. There was from this and joke at me, what India? And I had some sessions and on India is about 5 million 2030. Just something like go and look at this job. Then I was a bit sad to come back. One day the joke turned, you can't live in India. I'm playing upon the Middle East, everything. Came back and I started my business. One instance that entrepreneur. This associated body like young Indians, I was technology what I bring before the Honorable Minister to 2015 and to develop a market for my products operation. These are the what I got through. How rain is a why it is a blessing. Be friendly with me. I am one among you. Why? Without water we can't. And water everything. That's valley where water was there. In any civilization, the Egyptian civilization, something like that. I'm not anyhow. Why water conservation? Subject of if you look mentioned in this, you can see 97 water earth lies in the sea. Of the water lies as the polar, the glaciers. Anyhow, the global warming, ultimately the air level will be increasing. % of the water available to use human application. 1% deeply into the analysis. Point at a pot. The rest 0.6 water is used for lands or which can't be used for human needs of. So what source and we have sources you can ultimately get the water from the rain. There are many reasons water has to be harvested. The groundwater depletion, which the sinking groundwater, which you have managed it. The key issue which the care is having, table deplete and the salt water into the water get problem. Is some I am going to show is the agricultural and the industrial solution for water crisis is the ultimate. The potentiality to meet the water demand is tremendous. Right, to overcome rainwater harvest solution for great history of rainwater harvesting. Itself have a rich history. If you look places or if you go to Gujarat or Rajasthan, you can harvesting systems. Even if any place you go is then humans use at its fresh time to use it for their and routine lively needs. Here you go some of the global examples or the history somewhere in Turkey, Israel, in Greece. Water harvesting is there on Earth. So we define it as the storage of rainwater, water for drinking and irrigation. This is the rainwater harvest map. You can. I am not going deeply in. There is one thing which the population in was 200. It is to be expected in 2,700 crores, 800 crores by, but the count never changed. The water for is always the 1%. So people had on full 1927 have a quarter glass of tea. What the scenario is going on. There are some of the water some scenario, but we have from our own town. I have not suggestion. So it comes as fresh foam, flushed out from the using at least for. Here comes the real issue. You are going to build a home and design something, structures or such kind of water is the only thing what we need in a proper manner. The advantages of rainwater, we need only low availability with little demand. Rainfall and financial situation. Rainwater collection reduce water runoff. The stormwater management. Ability of collecting rain from weather extremes. Spreading. Free of minerals and irrigated soils. How does the harvesting system works? Collection, stirred, then to be stored, be extracted and used. Comes up with a set of roof-like surface is for harvesting. Gutter pipes and to be take or flat roofs There is rainwater harvesting from the because water can be collected from as well. Rainwater, which is second, I'm going behind to. This is a kind. The water goes. The water does not H2O. At the only problem is the accumulation during the time its rainfall and transport has to be removed for longer duration. Again, physiological need, oxygenated. Any kind of accumulated things has to be removed. Gives being engineers in future. I give you an analysis. The rainwater harvesting, the potentiality of rainwater harvest. Here it is an analysis plate. The region. You have to look catchment area. Then the coefficiency of transport. You will get the water in that area. The required quantum of 4 persons living in. Only 500 liters a day, 15,000 liters per 180,000. And how much water drinking application? 25 liters a day by 365 and 10,000. Storage tank to be an underground one where the no direct because sunlight together will allow the site. So filter pump, floating filter, and water will be sucked back. So rainwater use almost 50% of rainwater use electric needs. It's a system what I bring filters, ground tank, and steps to water. This is what I bring in. We have to the vertical filter mechanical procedure. The principle of adhesion, aeration inside, aerated prior to tank, and the second one, one of has been installed here in our sample is in the installed 18 of left hand side. This have a potentiality to clean. I will quickly how it works. You can see a pipe is coming from that end on the top, where the all rainwater is collected into a single pipe, and it moves towards the filter. And it moves towards the filter, and using the principle of adhesion, the water is sucked towards the filter side, and then the filtered water moves to one pipe along with the debris and the accumulants. The unfiltered water moves towards the rinse off. So the continuous filtration and continuous rinse off is happening inside this filter. So no need of any kind of maintenance. So the biggest challenge is solved over there. Any maintenance is not needed. These are the different kinds of filter collectors. This is a secondary device which we use for accelerating the sedimentation process inside the storage tank. So this reduces the turbulence, and the particles settle in a very fast manner, and the oxygenated water which is coming from the filter, it gets distributed equally into the storage tank. This is a third step we use for sucking the water from the storage tank using a submersible pump, and we take the cleanest part of water for reusing. It's an overflow device which we brings in for managing the quality of water inside the storage tank, which have a skimming of effect. These are some of the examples we did on project in Trivandrum at the Safalian complex, which you can visit and learn about how we had installed over there. There are some of the example global references. Here we have an hospital which is using the water for sterilizing the surgical equipments, which is a key job. It's in a brewery, it's in a school, then the commercial buildings. Any questions, please?
I want to, first of all, I want to thank Dr. G Ravindranath, former director, ISRO Inertial System Unit, for having taken us through a few examples from Dr. Kalam's life itself, and explaining to us how he was a visionary right from the stage where he was working with ISRO to the point where he was the President of India. And I was also fortunate enough to meet him personally and spend 30 to 45 minutes on a one-to-one interactive session. And that was almost 8-9 years ago. And my key takeaway from that 30 minutes of interaction was the difference in which most of us think, and the difference in which people like Abdul Kalam thinks. And at that time I had only just graduated from my college, and I had set up a small company, and I was trying to sell a small product. And when I met Kalam and when we discussed these things, the main difference I felt was that mine was a very small vision. It was just to make enough money to survive. And he was sitting in front of me, and his vision was to transform the villages and to provide internet connectivity to each and everyone in those villages. And this was almost 10 years ago. Right now pretty much everybody has got a smartphone and an internet connection, and probably that was not the way how he imagined internet would reach those masses, but then India has achieved that. Right now I think we have something close to 70 crores of people connected via mobile internet. And next I want to thank Ansar Asad for his session on rainwater harvesting, as well as how business bodies can help you grow your business. And if you really want to understand the difference rain can make, all you have to do is go to Google Maps and zoom out and see the difference, the color difference between Kerala and Tamil Nadu. That simple picture will show you how different what is the kind of difference which which rain can make. And probably Kerala is one of the prosperous states in India, probably because of rain. And then I want to thank, finally I want to thank all of you for coming for this session. And also the YA Secretariat and Vishnu, who arranged everything for a flawless execution. Thank you.